Hello everyone, my name is Daniel Levine, and the book that I chose to present to you is The Berenstain Bears and the In Crowd by Stan and Jan Berenstain. Um, I think this book is a great example of how to overcome bullying and to be true to yourself. Uh, the main character in this book is Sister Bear, and the antagonist is Queenie. Um, so the literary elements that I want to discuss today are plot and character. Um, Sister Bear is a very fun and, young girl who loves to double dutch and hang out with her friends in the playground. But one day, while in the playground, there's a new girl in town with this really cool new bike. There's Queenie. Um, Sister Bear, being the nice cub that she is, because when we're young as kids, we are taught to be polite and be nice to our peers. She goes up to Queenie and tries to introduce herself and be nice. So I'm going to read you a little part from the book. Sister says, "Hi, I'm Sister Bear." "Sister Bear," Queenie replies. "Now what kind of name is that? And you've got to be kidding me with those clothes. A pink ruffled jumper and a hair bow?" "Well," says Sister, "it's my kind of name, and these are my kind of clothes." Queenie replies, "Why don't you and your little friend go play in the sandbox?" This is the first time Sister has ever encountered bullying. She is very sad at home, as you can see. She doesn't know how to deal with this. And as kids, we're really taught to um, not deal with bullying and be nice to our peers. And sometimes as adults, we can underestimate children's abilities to comprehend um, tough situations. And I think that this is shown through one of Nodelman's assumptions. Nodelman states, uh, children's stories shouldn't describe unacceptable behavior, such as violence or rudeness or immorality, that readers might choose to imitate. I really do disagree with this assumption because without seeing unacceptable behavior, I don't think a child will understand and perceive those qualities. Um, if children are made available to these types of behaviors, and if Sister was made available to knowing what bullying was before today, she might have been able to be better equipped to handle the situation. But so the plot develops through this very nicely, and uh, Sister Bear doesn't really know how to handle the situation. She tries to learn to ride a new bike to be like Queenie. Two-wheeler doesn't work. So her mama bear decides to get her some new clothes, and Sister Bear is ecstatic because she thinks that she'll be fit in because of what clothes she has, and that is Sister. Now, Sister decides after putting on these new clothes that these clothes just aren't for her. She's getting out of them and getting back in her own clothes. So I'll read you a quote that says, "It's very nice," says Sister, "and I really appreciate the new things, but there's just one problem. It's just not me. I like me, and I wouldn't change me for a whole bunch of Queenie McBears." She then took off her clothes and put her old one back on, and her hair bow and all. And she can keep her old in-crowd friends. "Excuse me, Mama, I have to make a phone call." She marched over the phone and dialed her friend's number. "Hello, Lizzie, let's go back to the playground." This to me is a great example of being true to yourself. Um, I think a great quote from uh, Dr. Seuss, actually, that we've talked about Dr. Seuss, is, "Today you are you. This is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you." And I think that Sister really shows this in this book by not changing who she is and just being herself and going back to the playground with her clothes on. Um, I think this actually sends a great young message to young female readers. Sister Bear is a very strong young girl who other girls can look up to. This book sends a very strong feminist message that girls can be strong and mature and be comfortable in their own skin when dealing with situations like bullying. Um, the other literary element that I want to show is just the visuals, just how she changes. Like I already showed you this page is how she realizes I'm gonna be happy and I'm gonna overcome this bullying, and in the end you can see her ecstatic when she wins the double dutch trophy with her friends and just being herself in her normal pink and white polka dot ruffled overalls. Um, Another assumption that I disagree with of Nodelman is one that he states, sorry, where he states Children are emotionally vulnerable, easily upset, and often permanently damaged by exposure to ugly or painful matters. They respond to depictions of evil or deprivation not by becoming evil, but by having nightmares or even by developing permanent neurosis. I understand that children can be upset easily sometimes, which I will agree with. Sometimes children can be upset easily, but just because they're vulnerable to situations as sister was, doesn't mean that we shouldn't teach them about these situations. Um, I really believe that sister, if she would have been better equipped to handle the bullying and been taught about it before meeting Queenie, then she wouldn't have tried to change her clothes at first and try to fit in. And she figured it out by herself, actually. But if she didn't have to, I think things would have been easier for her. And um, I think that's a I think that's something as parents we need to learn. Um, also, something else that I want to talk about is just the resolution in this book. I think this is a great message, like I said, for young girls, just for the fact that it starts off, and even young kids, it just starts off as, that's why I always loved, my mom used to read me these books growing up, Berenstain Bears, and these books always have a moral to them. In the beginning of the book, there's always a little message, and right here, I'll read this to you. It says, one's sense of self-worth is often undone the first time one feels left out of the fun. And I agree. The first time that we all experience as kids, the first time you're left out of something, you don't know how to react, and it's a bad feeling. It's not fun. And if our parents would tell us that this is going to happen and we were ready to embrace it and deal with it, we wouldn't. I don't think that kids would struggle as much in this, um, which I think that's a big deal. And this all relates to Nodelman or Nodelman really well. Nodelman states also society's ideas about children are kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. I think that if we just assume kids are what we believe they are, then we're not really letting them grow. Um, we as adults shouldn't just assume things about kids. That's holding them back. We should. I think we're underestimating their abilities to comprehend difficult situations, and they need to be taught these unacceptable behaviors in life so they can learn these morals and the proper way to act and deal with these situations. Um, yeah, well, thank you. That's the Berenstain Bears Indian crowd. I hope you enjoy my presentation. Thank you.